I'm gonna start from the start here.
I like it. Sounds good.
Weren't you playing already? Are you
Yeah, but
ditching your
I'm ditching it. I'm restarting.
I mean, start from the start. You know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all the tutorial stuff, so I think maybe I shouldn't skip. All right, I'm gonna not skip, but I'll get through them fast.
Sounds good.
Okay, now we need a name. Last time I went with, and I think I'm gonna go with this again, is PhilKo Industries.
PhilKo with a K, right?
Yeah. PhilKo. I like that all of the developers you can choose from look terrible.
Yeah.
I think that's realistic.
How much of a mullet do you want?
Yeah.
And you never get to see their face. It's just like faceless hair and sweater vehicle.
That's a.
That was my second game.
Great. Okay, we don't need this. Alright, we've got our studio started, and it's just in our garage. Let's do this. Let's make a game.
Engine F wants to know when Marvel is, and you're gonna have to wait at least until the mid-90s, I think, for the first Marvel game. So
it's many years off. So I started with a space game last time, and it worked out well for me, so I'm gonna do that again.
Yeah, space is hot right now. People like space.
Space action seems to be a good fit. And then we can choose between the G64 or the PC. I'm going G64 because it has a bigger market share.
Yeah.
It costs more, but it has
That's the way to go.
more people.
It costs way more, but yeah.
You got the money right now, and you gotta keep the money coming. That's the thing.
So wait, what is there a year for this, or is like are we just assuming...
year 1, month 1, week 1.
So 1 AD, got it. 70 grand is a lot of money to have on hand.
Well, that's what we're.
Well, in this game,
you
it's
go
not
through
that
it
much
fast.
I'm just saying, like as a person, who seems to be working out of their garage.
Well, I mean, if you're starting a studio, you're gonna want.
It's true.
Starting a games.
Yeah.
70K in this is at this stage enough to throw all into one game, and then if that fails, sort of have a half-assed recovery attempt.
We need a name for the space action game.
Hopefully the chat will be helpful with that.
That's what chats are for. Chop, guys.
Last time I named it Starboars. Ha! And I got an achievement for taking too long to name the game. Perfect.
Nice. Yeah, I think Spaceballs has already been taken.
Galaxy Crisis is a little too serious.
Yeah. Disasteroids is pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, that's
good job, John.
Good stuff, John. We can do text-based or 2D graphics. Obviously, I'm going to go with 2D graphics because I'm not a fucking caveman.
I never made a text-based game, and then I felt kind of sad.
You don't want a text-based space action game? I think
Engine F, save Galaxy Boners for later. We're going to need to come back to that one. That's classic.
Boners are important, but those haven't been developed yet.
Okay, so this is sort of the key part of the game, is as you're developing, you kind of get to choose how much work you're putting into the different parts.
Okay.
So obviously, for a space action game, we want gameplay, lots of gameplay. I always put quite a bit into the engine. I mean, having a more stable engine is never a bad thing. Story and quests, not so important for this.
For Disasteroids, not so much. Why even bother, you know?
You think none? I'm gonna put it, like, in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
Or, like, a fourth down, I don't know, something like that. Let's see how it works.
It looks like all the way down doesn't even actually get rid of it all, it just makes it minimal.
Yes, that's accurate.
That's good.
Yep. So it's basically telling you, as you can see, there's stuff going into design, technology, and research as you develop, and you're also going to get stuff that goes into bugs, which you need to, or you want to get rid of before you release the game. You can leave them in, and we might.
Right.
Alright, so dialogues, there's not going to be dialogue.
Yeah, what? Ooh.
This. Level design we'll put up. Artificial intelligence we'll put up.
Yep.
I feel good about that. Dustbuster in the chat room says, guys, I just stopped playing this game long enough to come here, and holy shit, I love this game.
Yeah. this stuff is straight from GameDev Story, the kind of bugs design stuff. Again, I want to be clear, I'm not shitting on this game for taking inspiration from GameDev Story. Like,
so it's been a long time since I played GameDev Story, so this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. But is the allocating how much time
that stuff is
thing?
Not.
Okay,
no,
so
that stuff is
because that's kind of one of the things I find the most interesting.
That's really interesting. Yeah. But I think the way it was with GameDev Story, Janine can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like graphics, audio, gameplay, and maybe one or two other things, and points went into that in the same way that's happening here, and then also bugs. You had to get
for
rid of.
each of those categories, you would hire like a specialized sound guy and a specialized graphics person, and you still kind of do that here, but you decide in a much more hands-on way who's in charge of what. You have to make sure their workload is balanced, and like when you start doing medium-sized games, you'll see this. Right. Like you have a staff and you click and drag them onto those different bars, and everyone takes charge of one of those tasks or more if you want.
Game's finished. We did it.
That sounds really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
it has a lot finer control for that stuff.
Once you finish the game, you can kind of just leave him working, and he'll keep putting stuff into design and technology, but also has the possibility of still creating more bugs.
Right.
So
and
if you
that does plateau after a point.
Does it? Okay.
And also your hype will fall if you have any hype from marketing or press or anything.
I have no goddamn hype right now.
Well, when you do, that'll start to drop off if you wait too long. So there's like a sweet spot to finish.
Great combo. Dev Yang said, so is this a pirated copy or a retail review copy? Which is a good question.
Not a review copy. This is a copy I bought with my own damn money. Not pirated either.
Oh, the pirated thing is so good.
So let's discuss that briefly. So, kind of where this game really started getting some press, I guess, is they discovered there's a pirated version of the game, and if you played that version of the game, it actually caused all of your games to get pirated a bunch.
Yeah. And the great thing is, like, the Steam message board for the game is filled with people saying, like, can't I research DRM or something so that these pirates will stop stealing my game? So good.
So as you see here, between releasing games, we can do research. Mm-hmm. I'm probably not going to research too much right now because we want to build our own game engine.
Right. Oh, wait, what's new topic mean? Does that mean
That's
new
one of the
theme?
new... Yeah.
Okay.
It might be good to grab one of these.
You should research things before you build a game engine because that's how you take advantage of the things that you research other than topics.
Yeah, but we don't have... We will not get anything to research.
Yeah, but what good is building a
You can build a game engine, like an early game engine that has like some of the early advantages, and you can start like leveling those up already.
Okay. Right. Okay. Because I guess I wasn't in that stage long enough for that to really be worthwhile. Like I was getting my racing wheel and the gamepad and all that stuff, and then I built my engine to take advantage of that stuff.
Racing wheel.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder you're
because engines are really expensive too.
Here's our first review.
Really
First, but good. Star Games. I like Star Games. Game, perform game.
Okay, that could have been worse. That's not, these aren't perfect reviews, but for our first game, I'll take it.
Yeah.
All games, all the time. That's their motto. They played it for days. One thing another thing that's different from GameDev Story here is it seems like it's encouraging you to try different combos for topics and stuff. And in GameDev Story, obviously there were good, like, oh, this is a good combo to use, but it did not encourage me ever to mix things up.
Yeah.
Or I guess it did.
I feel the opposite way about this.
Okay.
I felt like in GameDev Story, I had a lot of my successful games were just me fucking around with stupid combos, like virtual pet shooters and whatever. And in this, if you mix it up too much, your game will just get all ones.
I don't think that you guys are necessarily disagreeing. I think the point is that in GameDev Story, you kind of had to specialize your developer a little bit more. In this, it's more of like, it is going to hurt you if you're doing weird combos in terms of like it's trying to like realistically figure out which things fit together.
Right.
Also,
And-
you two should
and-
introduce yourselves because there's some
Oh.
people in the chat room who don't know who you are.
Yeah, sorry.
You,
I'm Austin Walker. I'm at Austin_Walker on Twitter, and my website is clockworkworlds.com.
I'm Janine. I'm at Bleeding Heart on Twitter and in the chat sometimes. And I don't have a website yet, but I'm working on it.
Should we do a fantasy RPG? It seems like
Yeah. let's do
Yeah.
it. So more of what I was talking about was just if you once this game is done, you'll see that there's. I like that you get a bonus for using new topics, and like that's the thing specifically.
Yeah, you get a
you
bonus
don't
for
get
new topics, and if the topic and the genre combine well, also if there's like a topic that's trending, so to speak,
Right.
you get a bonus for that.
That's cool.
You get a bonus. But yeah, I found that a little frustrating that like it's not just that you won't get a bonus if your stuff doesn't match, it's that your game will just completely bomb.
Digital Eric in the
Everyone
chat
will hate
room
it.
says the idea of a virtual pet shooter sounds awesome as an asynchronous multiplayer game where half the people try to raise virtual pets while the other half of the players hunt them and wear their skin as hats.
That's just like the new Jason Rohrer game that Janine you played some of that, right? The it's named after the law where you're able to shoot somebody on your property if they're
Oh yeah.
Castle
what was it
Doctrine.
called? The Castle Doctrine,
Yeah.
right?
Debbie
I'm
X90
very
is
bad
asking
at
if there's
that.
a website for the charity marathon yet. It is almost ready. It should be up for sure tomorrow. We're just doing the last couple of things. So it will be up very soon. We need a name. We need a name for this fantasy
Oh, that's a
RPG.
good
I was
point.
thinking Dragon Slog. Is that good?
Dragon Slog,
Yeah, that's like a
slog through some dragons,
yeah.
or are you just mispronouncing Dragon's Log?
It could be both.
It could be both.
It could be either.
You should collapse it so it's one word, so that people in playgrounds get into fights about this. No, it's Dragon's Log.
Here, there it is.
Boom. Yeah, perfect.
All right, let's do this. 2D graphics. Let's go. So we're gonna want to bring up story and quests. I'm gonna actually lower gameplay a little bit.
I like grinding. One question here is like I don't. So what does engine mean? Does it just mean that it's
Clumsy Agent says it's Dragon S Log.
Esquire? Yeah, that sounds right.
Engine, I think, is your sort of pure mechanical aspects.
But not like the gameplay.
And like when you advance and unlock other stuff, there's things that fall under engine that you devote your time to. Like I think physics would probably and things like I want to say branching. Probably not. There's a whole bunch of stuff with like dialogue and story options and cutscenes, and some of it's in kind of weird places. But eventually, when you have those things and you can put money into those and select those for your games, then putting
Right.
time into engine sort of puts time into those things by
Right.
association.
Asteroids almost sold 20,000 units. I feel like that's a solid start.
That's solid.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Nothing
For a
to
dude in a
improve on.
garage, that's
Dragon S
That's
Log
good.
is finished.
That was quick.
We gotta keep cranking these games out. We gotta keep people interested.
New topic, new combo.
Dr.
Great
Derp
concept.
says, I heard Dragon's Log dropped this morning. That's pretty gross.
Pretty gross.
ugh.
Put that out there. Pretty gross.
First reviews, here we go. Dragon S Log. Oh no!
Ooh, yeah. I love how taken out of context fantasy and RPG is a great combination. Like that's the back of your box quote. The
Yeah.
end of that sentence is never yet. Dragon's Log is a terrible game.
Yeah.
Not bad, not good.
Well, that didn't go well.
No.
I don't necessarily always get the best sense of like why a game did or
Right.
didn't work,
Right.
which I recall being kind of an issue with
Yeah.
GameDev Story as well.
It's definitely hard to see like Oh, nice contract work.
You will get better. You get a lot. This game sort of branches out and refines itself in a lot of ways the further you go. Eventually you'll have access to like market data and demographics, and you can tailor your shit a lot more.
Right.
And that helps tremendously, because then they'll say like, well, not a lot of young people are using this console, so your
Don't make
kindergarten puzzle game didn't do so well.
Alright, we're gonna take a contract job just to build up some cash here.
Sounds good.
Just to show how this works.
What's the penalty for? Why would you get a penalty? Oh,
if you don't finish in time.
Yeah. Contract, yeah.
Got it.
I have not done many contracts, and I probably should have been, because I went bankrupt and that wasn't good.
That's why you went bankrupt.
I was doing so good for so long. And just PS2 came around, and
all right, let's get on to our next game. Let's do we could do a sports game or a military game. What do you guys think?
What year is it? We're gonna say it's like the mid '80s.
Year 1, month 7.
Yeah,
I believe military action is a good.
Yeah.
I think I had good luck with military action.
See, I'd want to do military strategy or simulation, but I'll do action. I'll trust you.
Sure. No, listen. I think military strategy. There's a lot of
military
those
strategy would be good too.
Let's do military strategy. Let's do
again. Also, I think we'll get a really good name from the chat for a good military strategy game set in the Reagan era.
My military action game, and I was thinking of it action in terms of like puzzly mid '80s type action. I called it Gorbachomp.
Good job. This is why I said. So good.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Engine F says Dudes of Battle.
Dudes of Battle's pretty good.
It's not bad. That sounds like a game from the 80s.
Global thermonuclear war is also a good reference there.
I wonder if I can fit that.
Probably not.
I could just do global thermal war. Bay of Wigs. Reagan's Ambition.
Reagan's Ambition is pretty good. Oh,
yep,
could you imagine if Koei made a series of strategy games set in the mid '80s? Oh, it would be the best. Okay, so I just saw that it said 2D graphics version 1. So is that one of the things that you can upgrade with your engine?
It levels up.
Yeah, it levels up, and then also
depending on how much you use it.
You can also apply it to engines. You can obviously get 3D graphics at some point, which you're going to need to put into an engine.
Right. Sorry, I'm deep in. I'm not paying attention. I'm now in the alternate world in which Koei's made like 12 different Reagan's Ambition games, and like the spin-off, which instead of being a strategy game, is a Dynasty Warriors style action game. And people, every time a new one comes out, everyone's like, ugh, we all know the story about Reagan's wars in the mid '80s because Koei's produced 12 games with the same story now. Oh, I want to
see what you want, but the one with the Digimon in it is the best.
God,
it's the best in the series. Can't deny it.
I think it's
Oh man, less than 10,000 units for Dragon S Log. Let's never talk about that again.
Jeez.
Until we come back and make a sequel 10 years down the road.
Right. And people are like, well, by then it'll be like a niche cult classic.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be.
That's my thinking.
Ahead of its time.
Alright.
Engine F says Reagan's New Ambition was the one with the kitty echo.
Here
we do lots of leveling up here. You're seeing my first level ups.
Up, gameplay up, story. Oh, almost. Story quest did not level. It was close though.
Everything but story and quest. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. And PhilKo level up. So.
Japanese company Ninvento is gonna release a gaming console.
Shit. I hope you can get a dev kit for that.
It costs a lot of money. I might actually want to. It might be smart to take some contract work right now.
Right.
To build up some more money for getting a dev kit.
So research costs. Oh, I see. RP in the top right.
Some research costs money. Some researching topics just costs research points.
Right.
Here we go. Reviews for Reagan's Ambition. Let's see.
I'm excited.
Oh. Uh-oh.
I don't want to see it. I hope.
Well, alright.
It has its moments. I hope I
It
didn't
could
steal
be
it
so
from
much worse.
Can I bribe these fucking journalists somehow?
Yeah, you're sitting on 125 Gs. Think about all the money hats you can buy with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I really wish there was a bigger pool for the review comments because they're
Yeah.
kind of blah.
Is there no way to do marketing in this game?
There is
There
eventually.
Okay.
It's still,
Yeah.
like there's not so much marketing going on here at this time.
Right.
Especially
Right.
not from a dude in his basement.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I kind of want to just keep doing some research stuff until the Ninvento comes
Yeah,
out.
I think that makes sense to me. I think
yeah.
I can make a game engine, but Janine will yell at me.
it's time to make game engine.
I don't think it's a good
I'm
use
pushing
of
for
your
it.
money.
Yeah, but the new,
Especially-
It does cost a
especially-
lot of money. That's true.
It
Does it?
costs so much money.
And if we're
so
saving
much money.
up for the Nintendo, maybe we should wait a little longer.
And it costs even more money depending on what you're including in it. So unless you're building a really bare bones engine, which at that point, why bother? It doesn't make sense until also when the Ninvento comes around, you get access to gamepad, and building
Oh,
an engine
yeah,
that you would
that-
use for the Ninvento without a gamepad,
That makes sense.
that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So,
I'll research comedy. That's a great genre. That's very
Oh,
popular.
That's what you should go out with, like a comedy text adventure.
Magnite asks, "Can you name your own engines?" Yes, you can. And we are
Let's
gonna
say-
have
pretty
to.
much everything.
We're definitely gonna have to come up with some.
Here we go. There's the Ninvento
I didn't
TES.
realize that at first, so I had game engine number 1,
Boring.
and that was disappointing.
Yeah.
And then I had fire engine, and that was cool.
That's
And then I went bankrupt.
And then you went bankrupt.
Oh.
For the record, I went bankrupt while making Hokey Pokey Memorial, which was a romance simulation.
Of course it was.
It was
I can't judge.
That's like the most Janine game.
yes,
It is.
basically.
Um,
I'm gonna grab this
What?
contract.
my most successful game during my GameDev Story career was a series of historical visual novels
No, what are you doing?
set in.
PhilKo, no!
You do? What do you?
Took a break in the middle of that and didn't finish it.
Yeah, that happened to be my first time I tried doing contract work, and then I was like, yeah, this isn't worth it.
I've never had that. That's the first time I've had it happen, so I don't think it happens too often.
Oh God,
But that was a
disaster.
disaster.
It's the 80s, man.
VHGS says he's a lazy bastard, which actually, okay, that's a good, a good version of how I am. Alternate history game.
Ooh.
Reagan's Ambition kind of already was that, but Clumsy Asian says this is why Phil doesn't make games. This is why I just play them and review them.
Right.
Phil Fan says he has to take breaks and scratch his head. It's a union break.
So that's another thing that this doesn't seem to have yet, at least, is in GameDev Story, your dudes would just leave, right? Like they'd go home. Obviously, you're working at home right now.
You send them on vacations once they become
Okay.
once their productivity goes down in this.
Okay.
Ninvento
Also,
is out.
the topics that you unlock are randomized because the order that yours are showing up is different than the order that mine
Oh,
show
that's
up.
interesting.
Interesting. I did not know that.
I didn't get the. I forget the one that you just unlocked. I didn't
Comedy?
get that until like 2000-ish.
Ooh, it was close, Phil.
All right, now we're gonna do it. Do we want an alternate history game or a comedy game? We'll probably kick off the NES with a comedy game, right? That's what we're doing.
That's what people want. That's it.
GF at the chat room says holding up for one of the reviewers being Phil himself. Terrible game, 1 out of 10. Yep. Okay, comedy simulation. Those go together. Comedy
Cool.
adventure, probably, right?
Comedy adventure. I think comedy adventure makes sense.
Yeah.
80,000 damn credits for the
Yeah, but listen.
TES license.
That's where the money is.
It's true.
think.
Yeah,
Actually, not-
that's,
Is it already, or?
Mario stand-up, as Thomas suggests.
you're in the decline of the
VHGS
Commodore
says
64 ripoff.
VHGS
Nice.
says just straight up released Takeshi's Challenge. Night at the Improv.
At the improv.
Okay, Dr. Derp's got it. Birthday suit Phil.
Sounds good. I just want to go back really quickly. Dr. Derp earlier said Ninvento has no games. I think he's channeling a young Chad Warden. There. Also, I would pay any amount of money to get Chad Warden back for this next round of consoles. I just want to put that out there. I miss him so much. Blast Comic Standing is a good name, Dude. I've already chosen this one.
That is a good one.
That's a good one.
Uber Explodey asks, so how shameless is this game ripping off GameDev Story? So we were talking about this a little bit before we got on the air. Why don't you guys talk about it a little bit now? But I think the general consensus seems to be that it's the same core idea, but it is handled quite a bit differently.
Yeah.
It feels like they played GameDev Story and said, okay, but this is the story of everything but the game deving. And this is sort of the response to that, because most of the game is spent developing and tweaking and fine-tuning the actual game, not just naming it, picking a combo, and delegating the work to someone.
Right. Yeah, it feels I get
it's definitely influenced by it. But...
Right, I get people who are like, they just stole this from Kairosoft, and I love Kairosoft games, like, no doubt. But at the same time, it's been 3 years since GameDev Story 1, and in a very big sense, especially when you look at the rest of Kairosoft's catalog, like, this is a genre of game. And I don't mind this because it's clear that they're also differentiating it. There are seem to be some...
Yeah, I don't think it is a, obviously...
Yeah,
again, obvious inspiration, but it doesn't seem like a flat-out clone the way that I think some people have said that it is.
Plus, Vlambeer is involved, so it can't be a clone.
Yeah, that seems accurate to me. Based off my understanding of how clones work.
Right.
Taking more contract work. Here come the reviews. Birthday Suit Phil.
And again, like, the level of control that you have over the tech that you're researching and how you implement it and stuff like that is significantly advanced from GameDev Story.
Right.
I do love the idea that a 4 in video game reviews would be not bad, not good.
Oh, can you imagine if that changes over the course of time? So that, like, as you move further to the future, more reviews come into 7s and 8s.
Nobody wants a fucking game that makes them laugh anymore.
I swear.
It was the 80s. No one had time to laugh. It was all go, go, go.
All Reagan's ambition.
Man, I really hope Reagan's Ambition 2 finds a better audience on the NES, the TES, than the Invento.